Part 1. The Silent Space Between Them. It had been weeks since Sarah had spoken to her father, not because she didn't love him, but because love sometimes gets tangled in the wires of misunderstanding, and she was too proud to untangle it first. Her father, Joseph, a 62-year-old former firefighter, lived alone in a small wooden house at the edge of Mount Carmel. His back was bent now, his beard mostly gray, but his voice still held the strength of the man who once carried burning children out of flames. "Dad, I'm busy," Sarah had said last month, her last words before hanging up. He had called again, left voicemails. Sweet, awkward ones. "Hey, Pumpkin, just wanted to say I'm proud of you. That's all." She didn't listen to them. She couldn't. Work, friends, new city, everything felt too loud to hear a father's simple love. But Joseph, he heard silence. He sat every night on the same porch chair, looking at the stars he used to show her as a little girl. "Look, Sar, that one's Orion. Remember?" Now the sky was the same, but there was no little girl asking questions, only wind. Part 2. The Missed Call. One evening, as rain struck the window panes in rhythmic sorrow, Sarah received a call from a number she didn't recognize. "Is this Sarah Holmes?" "Yes." "This is Officer Nolan from the Mount Carmel Police. Your father was found unresponsive at his residence. We rushed him to County Hospital." The phone slipped from her hand. Her knees buckled. She arrived by dawn. Joseph lay in ICU, tubes in his mouth, machines blinking like desperate fireflies. A stroke, massive. He hadn't spoken since, but he was alive, barely. The nurse handed her his phone. Sarah opened it. Voicemails. So many of them. "Pumpkin, you must be busy again. I was just thinking about your graduation. I'm proud of the woman you are becoming. I know you think I don't understand you anymore, but I do. I love you. Just call me." One last message. "Hey, sweetheart, I made your favorite soup today, chicken and dumplings. Even used the little carrot hearts you liked. Maybe I'll make it again when you visit. Okay? Love you." She played them all, tears flooding her face, like the river he used to carry her across in childhood. Every voicemail was a letter she never read. Every silence a moment she couldn't reclaim. Part 3. Her turn to speak. Word count? Sarah didn't leave the hospital. For 6 days, she sat beside him, holding his hand, combing his thin hair, whispering stories from her childhood. "I remember when you danced in the kitchen to old 80s music," she said softly. "I was so embarrassed, but you smiled so big." No reply. Only beeping machines. "Dad, I heard your messages. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I thought I was punishing you for not understanding me, but I was just punishing myself." She played his favorite country music, hoping it would wake something in his heart. Then, on the 7th day, the doctor said, "It's time to consider letting go." Sarah stood frozen. Let go? Of her father? Of the only man who had called her Pumpkin? Since she was 4? She pressed her forehead against his. "Dad, if you can hear me, please, just give me a sign. Anything." A tear slipped down Joseph's cheek. Part 4. The last voice she heard. Word count? Joseph passed at 2:14 a.m. In that dim hospital room, Sarah wept like a child. No one to hug her, no strong arms to pull her in and whisper, "It's okay, Pumpkin." Before they unplugged the machines, the nurse said, "Would you like to hear one last voicemail? We found it recorded in his draft messages. Looks like he didn't get to send it." She nodded. It played. "Hey, sweetheart. If this ends up being my last message, I want you to know you were the best thing I ever did. Every fire I ran into, every scar I carry was worth it because I came home to you. Don't cry for me. Just promise me something. Live proud. Live kind. And every now and then, look up at Orion. I'll be there. Love you, Pumpkin." Sarah collapsed into the nurse's arms, sobbing. She kept that voicemail forever. And every time life felt too hard, too painful, too loud, she'd press play. "Hey, sweetheart," it was the last voice she heard before finding strength again. After Joseph's passing, the house felt hollow. Sarah returned to Mount Carmel for the funeral, but what hit her harder was stepping into the house where her father once lived. His porch chair still faced the sky. His boots still sat by the back door. His coat still hung by the fireplace. She didn't touch anything. The kitchen smelled faintly like cinnamon and firewood. She sat where he used to sit, poured herself black coffee like he liked it. No sugar, no cream, and let it go cold while she stared at the emptiness. Then she opened the small drawer by the telephone. Inside were old photographs, her baby pictures, her graduation, her first bicycle. Tucked between them was a letter, folded neatly. It had her name on it. If I ever go before we talk again, please know one thing. Nothing you could ever do would make me stop loving you. I've made mistakes, but being your dad, that was never one of them. Love always. She clutched the letter to her chest and sobbed into the stillness. Part 6, The Town That Remembered. Top 1,400 words. The funeral was held at the small church on Cedar Lane. People came, so many more than Sarah expected. The mailman brought flowers. A teenage girl in a wheelchair said, "Your dad once helped me when I fell down a hill. He waited 2 hours with me until my mom came." A middle-aged woman said, "He carried my son out of a burning apartment. He never even told you, did he?" Sarah shook her head. Everyone had a Joseph story. That's when she realized he had never boasted, never told her the number of lives he saved. He had quietly lived like a hero. One elderly man said, "Your father didn't just fight fires. He put out pain, quietly, gently." At the end of the service, they played his favorite song, "Simple Man" by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Sarah sat in the front row, tears silently flowing, hand clutched over her chest. It didn't feel like a goodbye. It felt like a legacy. Part 7, Her Father's Notebook. Back at the house, Sarah explored more slowly, with reverence. In the drawer of his bedroom nightstand, she found a worn leather notebook. Inside were entries dating back over 20 years. June 12th, 2003. Today, Sarah lost her first tooth. She didn't cry. She just grinned with pride, brave like her mom. August 7th, 2009. She got into middle school. I made her pancakes shaped like hearts. She rolled her eyes but ate them all. February 14th, 2016. She didn't call. Maybe she's busy. That's okay. She's living her life. That's all I ever wanted. Each page was a window into his heart. She read about the nights he stayed up worrying, the pride in his words when she got her job, the quiet ache when she drifted away. October 5th, 2022, left her a voicemail, told her I made soup. I hope she hears it. She closed the notebook, kissed it gently, and whispered, "I heard it, Dad. I finally heard it." Part 8, A New Kind of Fondered Words. 2 months later, Sarah made a choice. She quit her job in the city, moved back to Mount Carmel. People thought she'd lost her mind, but she had found her heart. She turned Joseph's home into a community reading center, called it The Voice That Still Speaks. Children came after school to hear stories. Elderly folks came to sip tea and remember. Veterans shared memories. Parents brought their kids. Every wall held framed lines from Joseph's notebook. Every chair faced the sky. And the porch? It stayed untouched. One evening, as Sarah read a story aloud to kids, a little boy raised his hand. "Miss Sarah, what's a hero?" She smiled. "A hero," she said, "is someone who keeps loving even when no one's listening, who shows up even when forgotten, who leaves behind something so beautiful it keeps others warm long after they're gone." She looked at the heavens, like my dad. Part 9, The Star Named Afterwards. On the 1-year anniversary of Joseph's passing, Sarah received a package. No name, just a small note. "You once told your dad you wanted to name a star after him. Now you have." Inside was a certificate. Joseph Holmes, official star registry, Constellation Orion. She burst into tears. That night, she stepped out onto the porch. The air was crisp, the sky clear. She looked up, and there it was, just to the right of Orion's belt, a small, steady twinkle. She sat in his chair, played the last voicemail again. "Hey, sweetheart," and smiled. She wasn't alone. Never really was. Summary, part, title, theme, words, approx. New kind of fire. 5, The Empty Chair, grief, reflection. 6, The Town That Remembered, legacy, community. 7, Her Father's Notebook, discovery, healing, 400. 8, A New Kind of Fire, transformation, tribute. 9, The Star Named After Him, closure, eternal love.